What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Joshua Van spoke about what could be next for him after watching Tatsuro Taira deliver an impressive TKO win over Brandon Moreno. Van said Taira looked sharp, composed, and fully in control, and he made it clear he's open to fighting him next if that's the matchup the UFC wants. He explained that he ran into Taira backstage, and Taira apparently told him the fight was already booked in his mind. Van laughed about it, saying the interaction was respectful but confident, and he understood exactly what Taira meant. Van repeated that Taira looked great and that he respects what he showed inside the cage. At the same time, he said he hasn't forgotten about Alexandre Pantoja and would absolutely be willing to give him a rematch. He said, "I do want to give Pantoja a rematch for sure," acknowledging the former champ and the competitive history between them. But Van also emphasized that he's not the type to lock himself into a single option. He said, whatever the UFC wants, he's ready to go. If they want him to face Taira, he's in. If they want the Pantoja rematch, he's in. If they call him with something completely different, he's still in. He made it clear that he's the champ now, and he's willing to take on anyone the moment the phone rings. Van finished by saying the UFC has his number, and he's prepared for whatever comes next, keeping the door wide open for both Taira and Pantoja, while staying confident in his position at the top of the division. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, new footage has surfaced showing Conor casually breaking down striking mechanics while talking with Mike Tyson, almost as if he's teaching the boxing icon how to box. The clip starts with Conor pointing out how elite fighters like Canelo and Joshua mix levels, going low to the body before exploding high. He explains that this small shift creates a natural trap, a bump or a feint that forces reactions. Conor demonstrates how many fighters traditionally step forward in a straight line, keeping their weight centered, but he highlights how that approach can become predictable. He tells Mike that instead of simply stepping in, he prefers to jump or glide into range, landing in a position where he can fire immediately without giving the opponent time to reset. So you jumped in, and now you're right here, he says, emphasizing how the angle and distance completely change once you enter explosively rather than step cautiously. Conor keeps the explanation simple and smooth, showing how a small adjustment can create massive openings. He then shifts into a fluid demonstration, throwing a light combination and explaining how mixing rhythm, height, and timing keeps opponents guessing. Even Mike watches closely, appreciating the technical breakdown, as Conor finishes by saying he's just doing the simple things with sharp intention and proper execution. Moving on to another news, Merab ended up in a hilarious situation after completely losing track of where he parked his car. He explained that he wandered around the parking lot, trying to remember where he left it, but after a while, he finally admitted he had no clue. That's when a fan stepped in to help. The fan, named Raul, offered to drive him around so they could cover more ground and track the car down. In a lighthearted video, Merab says, "Hello guys, it's Merab with Raul," and Raul greets the camera with a simple hello. Merab then asks for the young fan's name, and she replies, "Kyla." Merab laughs and explains that he got lost somewhere in this huge lot, and that Raul kindly offered to drive him around to help find it. He thanks him and says, "Okay, we're going to find my car." As they start searching, Merab jokes that this is what happens when you get punched too many times, laughing at himself while admitting he parked the car somewhere and just couldn't remember where. The moment shows a fun, down-to-earth side of Merab as he chats with fans, laughs at his own forgetfulness, and turns an annoying situation into a wholesome interaction. Moving on to another news, Raja Jackson, the son of Rampage Jackson, has posted a strange and troubling message on Instagram following weeks of near silence. Ever since the incident involving pro wrestler Psycho Stu, Raja has stayed mostly offline, only briefly reappearing a few weeks ago to wish his mother a happy birthday. But over the weekend, he shared a bizarre and emotional message on his Instagram story that immediately caught attention. In the post, Raja wrote, "To be honest, I do feel like I was Jesus Christ in a past life. If I'm being seriously honest, I'm broke and kind of homeless right now. I'm being dead serious." The message quickly spread across social media, with many fans expressing concern about his mental state and the pressure he may be dealing with. Raja is currently battling legal trouble after pleading not guilty to the assault charges connected to the altercation with Psycho Stu. If convicted, he reportedly faces up to 7 years in prison. The situation has created a storm around him, and his recent post only added more uncertainty about how he's handling everything behind the scenes. While Rampage Jackson hasn't publicly commented on his son's message yet, fans and followers are hoping Raja gets whatever support he might need during this period. His post was short, raw, and unsettling, leaving many wondering what's going on in his life as the legal process continues to unfold. Moving on to another news, Tom Aspinall has reacted to the shocking scenes from the Wild UFC 3T23 card, admitting he couldn't even keep watching after seeing Alexandre Pantoja suffer that nasty arm injury. As the moment played out, Tom immediately recoiled, saying, oh my God, that's disgusting. I don't even want to watch it again. That's 2 times enough for me. Jesus. He even mentioned that Billy wasn't having a great day either, and called it a terrible way to end a title fight, a terrible way to lose a belt, and honestly, a terrible way to win one as well. Nothing about the moment felt good for anyone involved. Aspinall was then asked for his Fighter of the Year pick, and without hesitation, he chose Ilia, calling him unbelievable. He said, "For me, the fighter that stands out is Ilia. I just think he's unbelievable, and he's got many, many more great years to come in this world. I think so." His praise didn't stop there, as he shifted into talking about the best knockout of the year. Tom admitted that his choices were a little biased, because the moments that stick with him most are the ones he witnessed live. So for knockout of the year, he picked Ilia versus Charles Oliveira. He described it as one of the best knockouts he has ever seen in person, and said the atmosphere inside the arena was absolutely incredible that night. For him, that energy and that finish sealed it as the standout knockout of the year. Moving on to another news, Sean O'Malley is once again stirring the pot, this time accusing Petr Yan of avoiding a long-awaited rematch. O'Malley believes that even with a win in his next fight, getting Yan to sign on the dotted line might still be an uphill battle. Their first meeting back in 2022 ended in a razor-close decision in Abu Dhabi, a result that launched O'Malley into title contention and eventually earned him the belt. After a single defense, he lost the title to Merab, then dropped the immediate rematch, leaving him drifting on the edges of the title picture. But with Yan now crowned champion again, the storyline of running it back is stronger than ever, especially with so much controversy attached to their first fight. Before any of that can happen, O'Malley has to get through Song Yadong at UFC 324, his first 3-round fight since facing Yan. Meanwhile, conversation over the weekend focused heavily on a potential trilogy between Yan and Merab. Each fighter has one dominant win over the other, making a rubber match an obvious option. Still, when O'Malley's name entered the discussion, Yan didn't seem particularly eager to entertain it. After UFC 323, he even joked about O'Malley insulting his appearance, saying he looked like a lady from a corner, claiming he saw himself later and decided maybe O'Malley had a point before changing his look. In a new episode of his podcast released today, O'Malley broke down everything that happened over the weekend and what it could mean for his future in the division. He even joked previously about kicking Song off the UFC 324 card and jumping straight into another title fight. But today, he sounded more focused, though still frustrated by Yan's attitude toward the rematch. "Tim showed me this morning. They asked Petr if he'd give me a rematch if I beat Song or whatever, and he just starts laughing," O'Malley explained. "Every time Petr's been asked about a rematch, even way before this, he's avoided it. I'm not saying Petr is scared of me, but he always says I'm not deserving or not good enough. Wouldn't that be the perfect reason to defend the belt? I fought Cheeto." He pointed out that Yan mentioned Merab and Umar Nurmagomedov as rematch options, but not him. Still, O'Malley admits his only focus now is getting past Song Yadong, acknowledging that it's far from an easy task and that everything else will hinge on what happens next month. Moving on to another news, Joanna Jedrzejczyk has released a detailed statement after the viral footage from UFC 323 showed her in a tense altercation with former UFC light heavyweight champion Jamahal Hill. The video didn't reveal the full context, but Hill could clearly be heard shouting at Joanna, saying, "I'll knock you the fake out. If you touch my girl, I'm gonna knock you the feck out." Joanna responded firmly with, "Yeah, you will?" before Hill ended the exchange by saying, "period," as security quickly stepped in to separate them and prevent the situation from escalating any further. Once the clip spread across social media, Joanna took to Instagram to address what happened. She didn't mention Hill by name, but her message was direct, emotional, and focused on defending her reputation. She wrote that she worked extremely hard over the years to build her name, earn respect, and represent the sport professionally, and she said she felt embarrassed that her name was being dragged into a situation like this. She made it clear that when somebody uses her name or accuses her of something without any truth behind it, she will always stand up for herself, adding that she does not deserve to be threatened for doing so. Joanna also took a moment to reflect on her position as a strong and capable woman who has spent a lifetime training in self-defense. She explained that she has a platform and resources that many women do not have, which is why she empathizes deeply with women who are disrespected, threatened, or put in difficult situations without the power to defend themselves. She said she expects more from society, more from individuals, and especially more from athletes in the sport, including former champions who should set a better example. She thanked UFC security and staff for acting quickly and professionally during the incident, and said she now considers the matter closed. She ended her statement by wishing everyone a happy and healthy holiday season. Hill has not publicly responded to the situation, and messages to his management were not returned. The UFC also hasn't released any official statement about the incident. Joanna, one of the most decorated champions in UFC history, remains a frequent presence at events even in retirement, and Hill also regularly attends. For now, there is still no clarity on what sparked the confrontation that led to the viral moment. Moving on to another news, Donald Trump made a bold claim about the upcoming UFC event at the White House, saying there will be 8 to 9 championship fights on the card. He explained that the event is set for June 14th next year, and according to him, Dana White is building an arena specifically for the occasion. Trump said the plan is to stack the lineup with the biggest fights the UFC has ever put together, stating that every matchup will be a championship fight and every one of them will feel legendary. He added that Dana is even holding back some major fights for the next 6 months just so they can all be featured on this massive card for UFC 250. Trump described the event as something truly special and said he believes it's going to be amazing. He mentioned that the arena being built in front of the White House will hold around 5,000 or 6,000 people, creating an intimate but electric atmosphere right at the front door of the nation's most iconic building. Behind the arena, he said there will be space for another 100,000 fans, with 8 or 10 huge screens being set up so the crowd can watch every moment live. Trump described it as an exciting night in the making, something unlike anything the sport has seen before. He also noted that an overwhelming number of people are already asking for tickets, calling it one of the most anticipated events the UFC has ever attempted. According to him, demand is skyrocketing, and the energy surrounding this card is only going to grow as June approaches. Moving on to another news. Aljamain Sterling opened up about his immediate reaction to the razor-close fight between Merab and Petr Yan, admitting that in real time he actually thought Merab had done enough to edge it out 3-2. He explained that watching live and taking in the action as it unfolded, he felt they possibly won the first 3 rounds. Even though he knew each of those rounds was close, he still believed Merab had slightly edged them with pressure, pace, and constant activity. Sterling said the 4th round was clear for Yan, and by the time the 5th round started, he and the team could see Yan beginning to take control. As the fight progressed in that final frame, he felt Yan was getting the better of the exchanges, so he figured the most reasonable score would be 3-2 for Merab. When the official cards were announced as 4-1 and 3-2 for Yan, he wasn't furious about the 3-2 because he understood how close everything was. But the 4-1 scorecard left him confused. He admitted it made him question what he had been watching in comparison to the judges, especially because in his mind, the early rounds were competitive enough that giving 4 rounds to Yan felt off. Still, Sterling stayed respectful, saying Yan fought a great fight and executed well in several key areas. He emphasized he didn't want to take anything away from Yan's performance because the former champion showed strong composure, sharp counters, and solid defensive adjustments throughout the fight. At the same time, Sterling felt Merab didn't quite look like his usual self. He mentioned that something about Merab's rhythm, pressure, and transitions felt slightly different compared to his normal relentless style. However, Sterling made it clear that this wasn't an excuse, and that it was important to acknowledge Yan's effectiveness, especially in the later rounds where his timing and accuracy stood out. In the end, he called it a close, competitive fight between 2 elite athletes. And even though the result didn't go Merab's way, Sterling wanted to ensure Yan got full respect for what he did well inside the octagon.